When you get to the end of something, it's hard to remember the start. Hard to remember how it began, like what was the first step and how far back do you go? I got on a plane, and before then a train, and before that I walked. I took the ashes after I found the notebook, after I went into Dad's study, after the crematorium curtain shut, which was all after I sat at the kitchen table and stared at a spoon as Mum said he died. Which was after he died. But even that's not the start, is it? Well, because how can that be the start? Because the notebook wouldn't have existed without the history, and the history wouldn't have happened without the geography, and none of it would have happened if the skin of the world hadn't cooled and settled the way that it did, and if the ice didn't freeze the way that it does, and if the oceans didn't flow the way that they do, and if the earth hadn't stopped exactly as far as it is from the sun. Well, if the sun had never even formed, then me, Rory, hi, hello, would never have been sitting in a helicopter in a snowstorm watching my mum cry with my dad's ashes at the North Pole. And I know it sounds funny, but I find myself thinking, like, every woman who's ever existed, well, I guess except nuns, but every woman who's ever existed except for nuns has been exactly where I am right now. Millions of women and girls in millions of countries, in millions of beds staring at millions of ceilings, in every decade, in caves and castles and igloos, explorers' wives and Inuit women, and millions of little red stains across miles, acres, continents of bedsheets. And I sort of imagine us all lined up in one long chain, like one after the other. And if I crane my neck back far enough, maybe I could see my mother. And if I look past my feet, I can see my daughter. And, I don't know, tell her something? I snatch Dad back from her, and I run from the tent. I trip on my way out, stupid fucking ropes, but I keep running, and the sky and the sea and the snow all merge together, and, well, what's the use? Where can I go? Rory, I'm not calling her. Rory, I'm not! Come back inside now! And now there's a siren or a wailing noise or something and a searchlight, but I'm not going back in there. I'm not, because, well, what is there to go back to? Avoiding Mum in the garden and Dad's empty study and a new geography teacher at school? I'm not going without getting you there, Dad, because if you died and didn't get to go, if you died disappointed, say something, Dad, please! And Frida's trying to pull me back inside, and I hear the footsteps of the ranger running up to her, and he's yelling loudly over the siren, and I don't understand much of it, but I hear one word I know again and again: Beyond! He yells, Beyond! Beyond! And I look out across the ice, and I'm sure for a moment I see two dark eyes shining, and Frida pulls me to my feet, and I look again, and it's gone. Empty. White. Come in, Rita says. When Mrs. Harris taught us about space in school, she showed us a photo from when they did the moon landing. Everybody knows about Neil and Buzz, but there was a third guy, Michael Collins, and he stayed in the ship orbiting the moon while the other two were prancing about in craters and sticking flags in moon dust. And, well, he went round to the dark side of the moon, the side that we don't see, and he took a photo when it was lined up with the Earth like an eclipse, and he wrote, "Every human being in the world is in this photograph except for Michael Collins." It feels like everyone in the world is far behind me, and I could turn my back on them all if I'd like. And I sort of smile, not just to myself, not at anything funny. It just sort of bubbles up from inside me, and I'm sure I look like an idiot standing here grinning to myself, but I don't care. It feels nice. Because I think I might make it. And when I get there, or when I get there, I'll know. Won't I, Dad? I'm on an ice floe. All around me there's thousands of miles of grey sky, and chunks of ice flow on black water. Everything is sort of wobbly, my body in the ice going up and down gently, and they're sea creatures swimming in the ice. I can't tell what they are, but they're dark and deep. And it is so cold. My fingers are turning to brittle icicles, and all down my arms my veins go thick and blue with frozen blood. And my breath is freezing, turning my lungs into little twigs in the forest in the snow, snapping, and soon I'll choke, but I'm not afraid, because there, across the ice, is the body of a bear. Only just dead. An ice bear, a polar bear, a gift I've been given just for me. I go up and touch her fur, and it is the softest thing I've ever known. And she's going to keep me alive. She comes in, sees me. Her face is red. She looks so tired. She looks exactly how I feel. And there's a moment, and then she's on me, sobbing and squeezing me, not saying anything, just rocking and pressing, I'm sorry, I say. I'm sorry, Mum, I'm so sorry. And she says nothing, just rocks and presses. I feel her tears in my ears. I tell her everything about the notebook and about Frida and even Andreas. I expect her to get mad about that one, but she just sort of closes her eyes like a long blink and squeezes my hand. I tell her that I'm sad that he never got to do the thing he wanted to do more than anything. He never got to be an explorer. I miss him, Mum. I miss him too. He would have laughed so hard at all of this. He never got here, I say. But he got you here, didn't he? Yeah. I watch the sun on the horizon and the birds flying towards their cliffs, and I plant my feet firm on the ground and say, it's strange. When I stand here, it's like the whole world is holding me up. Well, wherever you stand, the whole world is holding you up, Frida says, which I guess is sort of true, isn't it?